is the very popular style with Fajardi. I just kind of thought it was really cool, to be honest with you. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're kind of going to be talking about some of my fastest flips for November. So I'm going to show you some of the exact items, the styles, why I think they sold really fast, what I paid for them. I am thinking about making these types of videos more often just because I feel like they are super valuable. You can see what's actually selling in my closets for how much, and yeah, hopefully you can learn some styles and just see kind of what's trending and maybe some items that you can pick up. So I'm sorry if you see me looking down, but I want to give you just a little tiny recap of my actual month. So for the month of November, I listed 121 items, and the number of items I sold for the month was 110. And then my average sales price for the month was $34.78. So for November, I spent $236.12, a little under $230 because I accidentally added a October one in there that wasn't technically supposed to be there. So I spent a little under $230, which is pretty good for me. If you are new here, I shop primarily at the Goodwill outlets. I will go to regular thrift stores, but most of the time I am going there. So real quick, I want to talk about my top selling brands and my top selling categories. So my top selling categories were sweaters. I sold 29 sweaters. I sold 27 tops. Coats I sold for women were 12. Dresses were 8. And men's sweaters were 5. So that's something I want to be also exploring more is as I was doing this deep dive for this video, I realized that a lot of the items that I was selling or things that tend to sell really quick for me in my closet are men's pieces. So top selling brands were Free People, Vintage, Anthropology, J. Crew, and Lululemon. So the first item we are going to talk about is a men's piece. This first item, so I'm going to move over so you guys can see it when I add my little photo on there. But this is called the Fajardi Legend sweater. I tagged it as Fajardi Legend sweater shirt, single pocket, plaid green, twill knit, soft, size large. But the reason I think this item in particular sold very fast, and you might see it in a vlog, is the very popular style with Fajardi. This, I had never found it before, but I just saw that it was a plaid like shirt from, Fajardi, and I'm like, I'll look at it because it might be, sorry, my cat's playing with the tag. It might be a great pickup. Before I forget, I paid $1.37 at the Goodwill outlet. It was listed on December 4th. Oh, I guess this was a little out of November, December. I might have a couple in November or December. It was listed on the 4th. It sold on the 5th on Depop. Sold for $54.89, and I did profit around $50.88. So that is a great flip for me that, again, men's pieces are performing very well. I don't know if it's, I think it is based off some styles that I will talk to you guys a little bit about, and some things that I have noticed are just doing well in my own personal closet. So I was really happy about that sale. The next sale was actually in November. So this was listed on the 21st. It sold the same day on Poshmark. This is it's called the Vintage Ebets Field Flannel Long Sleeve. Basically, the reason I picked up this is because it had all the sellable factors for rugby. Rugby is extremely popular in the men's category, just tops in general. A lot of people are wearing them. I would say women are too, but they are extremely popular. I did find this at the Goodwill outlet. I was, my cat's messing with my Christmas tree. So I did, like I said, found this at the Goodwill outlet, and I primarily picked it up because it had a rugby number. It just looked very you know, preppy, academia, just like streetwear vibes. It had like a worn in look, and it was, you know, I just kind of thought it was really cool, to be honest with you. So I listed it on Poshmark for $44, and I believe it sold, I think I listed actually for 48 and it sold for 44. My cost of goods was $1.46, so I did profit around $33. So the next thing is also another men's piece. This is a vintage chore jacket. I did not really care about the brand itself, but this is called Jose Bank, which this style in particular is vintage. So it had a lot of sellable factors. It did have a different color collar. If it was corduroy, it probably would have sold for more, to be honest with you. It was kind of like a canvas style, had oversized pockets, just very great style piece. It was cotton, extra large, so it had a lot of sellable factors here. This one did take a little bit less than a month. It was listed on November 10th, but it sold in December 6th. It was listed around $38 and it sold for $30. My cost of goods was $2.12 and I did profit around $21. So that was sourced at the Goodwill outlet. Anytime I see a chore jacket, I'm going to pick it up, just because I know that it is a style a lot of people are looking for. Sorry, I did tag it as Jose Bank Barn Jacket, Chore Coat, Men's Extra Large, Blue Tan Canvas, Corduroy Work Vintage. So something I am doing for most of my listings is I am adding tags. So I will use descriptive words, I will use styles, aesthetics, anything that I believe will help the item sell. So that is something I feel also definitely helped this piece and a lot of my pieces to sell a lot quicker. Okay, so this next item, I was super happy to find this. This was in a picked over bin, and this is why I will always check the picked over bins. I will always check the bins that everybody goes to, because you can always find good items. I believe. I think a lot of people may miss them or may be shopping for themselves, which is totally fine, but I'll always check them. So this is I might butcher the name, so I apologize. Annie Bing. I'm sorry if I butcher it. I'm not great with names, but this brand is it used to be very popular. It has kind of died down. You definitely could have before gotten over $100 for their sweaters. I think it's kind of slowed down a little bit, which is totally fine. I'm still happy with what the item did sell for. So it was listed on November 29th and it sold the next day. I did list it a little bit high at like $65. It did have two little flaws on it. It had two little bleach marks on the sweater. I didn't notice it till I got home, but honestly, I would have still picked it up anyways. My cost of goods was $1.91 and I profited around $38. So super great, because it had the large tiger graphic, because it had the spell out name. Those, I think, really carried the item. I tagged it as women's large olive tiger graphic crew neck sweater boho streetwear, and then I used loungewear, streetwear, graphic tees, layered grunge, skater. As you can see, like, I just stuff it in there and I put as many tags and keywords just to help that item be seen more. And honestly, since I've started doing this, I've done this probably for the last month and a half, I have noticed a dramatic increase for my sales. Now, does it take a little extra time? Yeah, but I think like putting in those extra keywords that somebody may be looking for will help the item sell. So that's something I'm just definitely going to continue doing. Next piece, you guys probably saw this in a thrift haul with me. This was a vintage, kind of like a button-down velour. It was really pretty. It had kind of like roses, had some like squiggles and dots and floral print, and it was just beautiful. It was a burnout style, and I saw it in the bins, and I knew that it would sell just based off of its style. So it did sell on Depop, and I apologize. As I'm editing, if I miss anything, I will put it on the screen of where the item sold for. But I will be honest, a lot of these are from Depop and Poshmark. Depop has really started to become a platform, and I will always say this in my videos, it's probably my favorite platform. I don't make as many sales over there as I do Poshmark, but Depop is just, it's an amazing platform because of the fees, and also the style-based items really do sell very, very well over there. So this was listed on November 25th. It sold 2 days later on November 27th on Depop. It was tagged as vintage. I listed it for around $38 and it sold for $31. After my cost of goods was $1.46, so after their fees, I made a profit of $25.30. So we did tag this item as vintage women's medium velvet burnout sheer floral button down fairy whimsy goth boho witch, or I think witchy. Yeah, witch. I don't know. I might have spelled that wrong, but it's always funny when I look back because sometimes I will spell things wrong or incorrectly, and I'm like, just because I'm going fast or my fingers are going fast. So this is a really good style to be on the lookout for. Velvet burnout tops do and perform very well in fall and winter. I'm not sure. I'm sure they might still in spring and summer, but particularly in the winter and fall. Next piece, this is another men's piece, and I'm going to tell you right here, I am definitely going to start researching more into men's items because they flip for good money and they flip very fast. I know some people have luck with men's pieces, some don't, and I think it is definitely going to be style-based as well, just like women's. So if I'm comfortable picking up style-based items for women, then I can feel comfortable picking them up for men. And I have just started picking some stuff up and just trying it out, and it has been performing pretty well for me. So as long as I'm paying attention to what's actually selling from my closet, I think it's a safe experiment, I guess you could say. So this next piece is a men's piece. Like I said, it was listed on November 29th and it sold on December 1st. Sorry, some of these will be a little in December. But this was called Buck Mason. And fun fact is I actually had this on my rack for a while because I just wasn't super excited about it. And to be honest with you, when I checked the comps, it was not showing that it was going to perform pretty well. So I was like, probably wasn't a good pickup. And I was kind of why did you pick that up, Taylor? So I listed it and it sold the next day. So that just goes to show, get the stuff listed, don't leave it. I definitely had this on my rack for over a month. And, I just need to kind of understand that, if I've been doing this for a long time. So, over time, I just have started to trust myself more and understand that just, I don't know, confidence in yourself, I guess, is also going to help, I think, with just being a reseller in general. But sorry, I digress. I tagged it as Buck Mason shirt, men's, small. It was a size small, a pocket, gauze, long sleeve, utility green, Gorp core. So this was listed, I think, about $35, but with their all their fees and stuff, I paid $1.33 and I made around $26. So eBay's fees are always interesting to me. I did start promoting my listings on eBay just so I can hopefully generate some more sales, because like I was talking to you guys in a last vlog, eBay has kind of died off for me. So I know there's going to be some changes with some fees coming up. So I don't know how that's going to affect my sales. Hopefully I'm hoping for the best, but that's okay. So I think this item did sell because it was just a good closet staple. It's kind of a minimalistic style. I put preppy, modern, relaxed, casual. So a lot of good keywords that somebody might be looking for a particular item. So just a couple more items. This next piece was a women's piece. This was also listed in, December 4th. So maybe it's December and November, but hey, that's okay. So this actually sold on the same day it was listed. This is a J. Crew lamb's wool sweater, women's size large, red crew neck, chunky grandpa knit. Now this sweater, I'll be honest with you, the tag it's from 2016. So honestly, like, it's an older piece, to be honest with you, but it had a lot of great sellable factors. It was slouchy. It had that grandpa kind of like vintagey vibe, great fabric content, great size. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to pick it up, even though it is an older style. And that's what I mean by just kind of trusting your gut and understanding that there are other things with this piece that can help it sell. By all means, I feel like taking the risk of paying $1.37, which is what I paid, to make a profit. So this item was listed for $35, sold same day, full price, and I made $26 profit, little over $26. So I'm super happy. Again, those keywords definitely came in hot for this item. Vintage, vintage inspired, winter, cabin core, woods, granola girl, like things that aesthetics and maybe like places that people would go to help, sell that item. You can add like ski or ski resort. And people are looking for these. Grandpa sweaters, chunky knit sweaters, vintage style sweaters. They are very popular right now, and I'm seeing them sell between men's, a lot of men's sweaters and men's like vintage like types of sweaters are selling really well. Next piece, this is a great item. I was so happy to find this at the Goodwill outlet. This sweater just had everything going for it. It was very like, I don't know, very kind of abstract. It had like a lot of different abstract prints. It was kind of colorful but muted and kind of like had a grandpa style, to be honest with you. And the person who bought it, she bought it for her son for Christmas, so I thought that was super cute. She told me about it, and so it was listed on November 24th and it sold on November 30th. It was listed for $38, sold full price. My cost of goods was about $4.13. I got this on a half price day at Goodwill. I went to a couple weeks ago, and I'm really happy it sold. I did profit $26.27. Some keywords. The vintage tag said UTOM. That was the brand. So I put that in there. Vintage, men's size large 90. I used goblin core, grandpa, crew neck sweater, gorp core. And again, I used geometric, chunky, woods, relaxed, Y2K. So a lot of good keywords that I think just pulling in that right buyer. Just knowing who I'm targeting, who I want to buy that sweater, and using those keywords to draw them in and hopefully sell it quickly. So that is also something I am trying out. I am trying to diversify my sourcing, which is something I'll talk about in another video. I love the Goodwill outlets, but I want to diversify just so I can sell items for a little bit more money. Sometimes I can find just higher price items at the thrift store. So I have two more items for you. Next piece, this is a woman's piece. I did get this at the Goodwill outlet. This is a vintage white stag women's. It was a plus size button down cottagecore embroidered vest fruits. This vest was so freaking cute. It had fruits on it, looks like some pears. It had some apples. It was all embroidered on the front. It was a knitted style. Very teacher vibe, very artsy, boho, cottagecore, just so many great keywords to use this, and it was absolutely adorable. It did sell on Depop. I think I listed it for about $28 and it sold for $26. My cost of goods was $212 and I did profit around $20. And I think it just, you know, based off of style, it sold. Last thing is a Free People item. So this item was listed on November 4th and it sold November 5th. And this pair of pants was called the Free People Intimately Summer Slumbers Harlem Pants Women's Medium. So these pants in particular were wide leg, baggy, slouchy, oversized, relaxed fit, all the things that I want to look for when I'm looking for Free People. That's what I noticed sells the best for me, especially if it is a newer piece. I'm not sure if these were super new, but they had to have been not too old just based off of their style. This sold on Depop. It sold for $40. My cost of goods was $1.65 and I did profit around $36.20. There you have it. Those are some of my November and a little bit of December sales. I was super happy with all my sales, and as you can see, I really try to kind of like focus on those items that are going to sell for more money and that are going to just sell very quickly. I do plan on growing my store a little bit more, and I'll talk about that in another video. I have some things that I'll kind of update you guys with and just kind of give you more, I guess just more of like an update on like my store and things like that. So yeah, just to get me back to closer to the sales amount and the profit that I was making before. But I'm very grateful for all these sales. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you like this type of content, definitely let me know. I do plan on making more of what sold videos, ship with me's. So if you like that type of stuff, definitely feel free to like the video. Thank you so much for watching the video, hanging out with me, seeing some of my sales. Let me know down below some of your sales. What were some items that you noticed that are selling really well for you? Yeah. Thanks guys, and I will catch you in the next video. I think the next video is going to be a vlog, so I'll see you next time. Okay, bye guys. See you later.